Wow. Okay. Lawlers, we're going to be covering off all things Gwen. This is the new champion that was just released today. The Hallowed Seamstress, there's a bit of a hearken to for Caroline, if anybody's watched that movie, Coraline, whatever the name is. We're going to check out each of these today and just get a better idea of who this champ is and what she's all about. So if you want, grab some popcorn, sit down, relax. We're going to have a quick look first at the champion insights. Okay, so here's a quick article on the insights for Gwen. She's cut from a different cloth. Talks about when you were a child, if you had a favorite toy, blah, blah, blah. Let's get to the good stuff here. So, yeah, pretty good, creepy kind of artwork. Looks like some pretty cool colorways as well with the turquoise and the green and the blue here. Very cool scissor as a weapon. I think that's a pretty cool weapon there. Interested to see how that looks like in some of the upcoming gameplay that they have featured. And there's some scissors that they use for the actual sound effects. So that's pretty cool, but let's get to the good stuff here and check out some of the actual in-game footage and the teaser trailer. Alright, Gwen Champion teaser. League of Legends, made with love. Let's have a look here. You got the needle, the yarn, yeah. Sewing together a doll figure. You gotta appreciate the artistic ability to sew images like this. She gone. It's starting to look more and more creepy, eh? Those scissors and needle. She's with the fishies. Oh, wow. Creepy. Almost a pike vibe to it with the water. Okay, next up after that teaser, we've got the gameplay trailer. Let's check this out, see if it gives us a little bit more of an idea what's going on with this champ. Some more water right off the start where we left off there in the teaser. There's those creepy looking scissors. Not sure those are ergonomic, but whatever.
Scissors, needles, thread. These were my maker's tools. I won't take her gift for granted.
Wow. A lot of scissor action going on here.
It's a strange, wonderful world. I must
Just
make sure it stays that way.
doesn't look right to see somebody with scissors beating Mordekaiser.
Still can't believe I get to move my hands and feet all on my own.
Okay, alright. Looks like some other kind of an ability.
No time to
Dodge.
rest. Another down.
Seeing some dashes, seeing some dodges. This is classic Riot.
Next, I get to decide.
Loving the music actually. It's kind of like horror film. I like it. Okay, and last up we have the gameplay. So I think we're actually going to be able to take a look at some of the abilities here and see what she's all about in a very in-depth level, see how she plays. My understanding is she's a top laner, and that there was a little bit of blowback on the community how much of a humanoid form she took. I think people wanted a little bit more of a demonic, monstrous character. But it is what it is. Either way, I like the color so far, and I like the scissor aspect, so let's see how that works out in terms of the abilities.
Once little more than a handmade doll, Gwen was brought to life just as Ruination rained death upon Runeterra.
Okay.
Armed with the misty memories and tools of her maker, Gwen fights with a flurry of snips and slashes.
Okay, so you're actually the doll, I guess. The fury of the maker. Cool. Okay, and snips and slashes. That's how you're going to destroy people in the top lane. It's just so funny to see that, like, quadruple scissors
Think
slash.
you can make the cut? Welcome to the Gwen Champion Spotlight. Gwen sows pain with her passive, 1,000 cuts.
Okay.
Her attacks and certain abilities deal a percent of her enemy's max health on hit. If the enemy she hits is a champion, she'll recover a part of the damage dealt, granting her sustain.
right? So that's how you can see that she's probably going to be best in the top lane. She seems to be prioritizing kind of maximum efficiency against people who stack health because their attacks are going to build up that max health damage, and then she's also going to have the sustain aspect for some of those longer bruisier trades and engages where she's going to be able to heal some of that back.
Gwen's Q is Snip Snip. Use Q to cut your foes down to size, snipping twice and damaging all enemies hit, with the last snip dealing substantial bonus damage. Enemies at the center of Gwen's snips take true damage and
Okay, so I love, number one, I love the name of this, Snip Snip, love it. I'm assuming this is going to be the ability you're going to max, probably going to have a low cooldown, low mana cost, and probably pretty annoying for melee champs to play against you in lane because it's going to deal 2 hits of damage in a cone around you, probably going to be pretty hard to dodge out. So yeah, probably going to be quite annoying depending on the actual numbers that Riot puts behind it.
instead, and those unfortunate souls will earn 1,000 cuts. Ouch. Looking to thread some extra damage, Gwen's Q passively stockpiles ammunition in the form of stitches for each basic attack she lands. Snip Snip can consume any save stitches to deal extra small slashes when you first activate Q.
What the hell? There's a passive to this too? That you can stack up more snips? So this is like a snip times 6, right? Because they're the original 2 and then plus 4. Wow.
I guess snitches really do get stitches. Hollowed Mist, Gwen's W, summons mist around Gwen, making her untargetable to all enemies outside the mist for a few seconds. Enemies can still hit Gwen if they get inside the circle, and towers can always target her, but Gwen isn't defenseless. She'll gain armor and magic resist so long as she stays within the mist. You can recast W once while the ability is active to reposition it, and if Gwen attempts to leave the protective circle, Hollowed Mist is recast automatically.
Okay, before they continue on this, number one, depending on what the cooldown is on this ability, it's going to be broken. And number two, why did they add the second recast of it? Like, was it not strong enough on its first cast that they need to add a second recast to reposition that circle?
Keep an eye on the cooldown and use W to protect against ranged attacks, while continuing to poke and jab. Your enemies won't be missed.
Try again! I dare you!
Gwen's E, Skip and Slash, is a dash that buffs her attacks for several seconds. Empowered attacks gain bonus range, attack speed, and additional damage on hit. The first attack to hit after using E reduces the cooldown of Skip and Slash, so you can deal damage without missing a stitch.
I run with scissors!
This is the only time it's okay to run with scissors, kids!
Okay, so just basically a damage booster. That's probably going to be the ability you're going to max out second, and then just leave 1 point in W for the utility of it. I'm trying to think who is closest to this champ right now. I feel like Viego is quite close to this champion in terms of the abilities, with like a short cooldown stabby Q, kind of a mist walking W, and then I guess the E is not really like Viego, but yeah, kind of interesting. At least the visuals are very different from any other champ that we've seen so far in the Rift, which is cool.
The first time you cast Gwen's ultimate, Needlework, she fires a needle that damages and slows your foes. Hit an enemy with an attack or ability within seconds of landing Needlework, and you get to cast it again. And again. Each time you cast Needlework, it fires off more needles, dealing more damage. Up to 3 total casts.
Okay.
1,000 cuts is applied to all enemies hit with Gwen's ultimate, allowing you to really reap what you sow.
No
What?
loose threads!
So you can just keep firing
Gwen
needles?
is tailor-made for the top lane, constantly attacking and stacking to weave a tapestry of both pain and sustain. Looks like scissors beats rock after all.
I mean, yeah, so she's tailored for the top lane, but again, there's so many assassins and melee champs played in the mid lane that you could probably very easily play her in the mid lane with great success. I'm just wondering what kind of items are going to work best on her, if it's going to be more bruisier items or kind of attack speed focused on hit builds where you can really stack up some of those on hits.
Be cautious in the early game and avoid champions who can outmaneuver her mist. While Hollowed Mist can protect against one-off skill shots, Juggernauts can get in close to take you out as they tank damage. And in ranged matchups, you run the risk of getting caught outside the mist. Play it safe so you can craft your victory in the mid to late game.
I love how they just covered her like cons, like, oh, play it safe this way, play it safe that way, watch out in melee, watch out in range. They're also not covering the fact that in range matchups, if you press W, you can probably counter the entire champion's kit that you're facing. And then in melee matchups, if the base numbers on some of these, like the Q and the E, are just too good, some champs will just not be able to trade against you. Was like kind of true of Viego, but like his base numbers on release were so crap that he was almost just like not any winning matchups were possible for him. So it's going to be interesting on release if they actually have her super buffed up or not.
Gwen really comes to life hunting down opponents and using needlework to damage and slow.
Here's a sewing trick.
By constantly using her skills alongside her passive, Gwen is able to dish out damage with short cooldowns and steady sustain. Enemies making a run for it, skip and slash in hot pursuit to watch them unravel.
No stitching that back together.
Gwen deals constant damage, so rely on your tight-knit team to keep you safe when you go for the kill. Position with Hollowed Mist staying just out of reach, and you'll get your point across.
Lucian, you missed too many shots.
All dolled up and ready to take on the Rift? You can learn more about the Hollowed Seamstress by clicking the links below.